What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another poker vlog. Do I look just a little more cultured sitting behind or in front of some books, a bookcase and all that stuff? Anyways, obviously we are back at Boston Billiard, in for another session. That's all we got. We're on all the lists, six-handed. Welcome to the vlog. Hopefully today goes well. We've been running really well so far. Like I said, 2020 is treating us well. Early, it's December 2nd. So we got 1 month left. Let's try to close this year out strong. I've got nothing to say. Shout out to all you guys for watching these videos. It has been absolutely awesome to see the growth of this channel. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. So with that said, let's get in some action. We hop right into the 2-5 game, and the first hand that we are going to see, pocket kings in the big blind playing 5-handed. That is phenomenal. Under the gun player opens it up to $15. Action folds back to me. Easy spot to 3-bet, to say the least. Out of position, I size to $60, and he decides to make the call. Let's go. Heads up to a flop, which comes ace, deuce, 9, 2 diamonds. Every time, man. Every time you got the ace out there with kings. Anyways, I decided to c-bet my range since I did 3 bets. Ace should hit me a lot, can deny some equity from some hands. So we sized to $40, and this $40 bet will not get through as he makes the call. Off to a turn, which comes the 4 of diamonds. Definitely going to be slowing down now, not only because the ace is there, but the front door flush got there. We check. He throws out a bet now of $80, and yeah, unfortunately, we're just going to have to get out of there. Pretty unfortunate flop for us, but we fold. He shows us ace deuce, so flopping 2 pair is going to be good. Next hand, we pick up ace queen on the button. There is a cutoff limp, and now onto me. I raise things up to $25 in position. Next to act in the small blind, 3-bets us to $60, and action folds to me. He's out of position. He's on my left. In position, certainly a good hand to play, especially facing a pretty small sizing. We call, and we're off to a flop. The flop comes ace, jack, 7, 2 hearts, and a diamond, and surprisingly, he checks here. While checking, he looks a little frustrated for some reason about this flop. Seems a little annoyed for some reason, so with that said, with top pair and a decent enough kicker, we throw out a very small bet of $45, hoping to get some hand like queens or kings to call. But no. That doesn't happen. He doesn't make the call, and he doesn't fold. He puts in that check raise to $115. Now this seems like really strange action. Hearing what he said on the flop, I'm a little suspect that he just might be hollowing a hand like jacks, maybe sevens. A set's ace jack, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but with top pair and a good kicker, I don't think I can fold just yet. I make the call. The turn comes the deuce of diamonds, essentially a total brick, although it does bring in a backdoor flush draw. He now throws out another bet of $155, and I'm thinking probably could find a fold here, but with top pair, decent kicker, and a plentiful amount of draws now on this board, we decided to make the call thinking our kicker is just good enough. Off to a river, which comes the 6 of diamonds, so backdoor diamond draw gets there. And now he throws out another bet for a third time to $200, and he only has $200 behind. At this point, this line is just way too strong. 1 pair really shouldn't ever be good here, even though we do have a good kicker. With that said, we did come to the river, and we didn't come this far just to fold to a really good price, I guess. I make a pretty sticky call, probably could find a fold, but we are no good, as he shows us pocket jacks for flopped sets, and yeah. Super strong line, and we just couldn't find the fold button this time. Hand after that, we pick up pocket jacks ourselves, so that's always a good time. We're under the gun, and I decided to straddle here, so pretty good time to straddle. There are 3 limpers, 3 callers of the $10 straddle to us, and obviously we're raising it up with a premium holding. We size to $65, and there's only 1 player who makes the call. He's in the cutoff who limped, and I'm putting him on a fairly wide range. Let's go to a flop, which comes jack, 9, 3, 2 clubs. Top sets, although there are some draws out there, I think his range is just so wide where out of position, I don't think we can get 3 streets out of him, especially having all of the jack X's locked up. So I decided to check, hoping he could just bluff at it or something like that, but he checks it back, unfortunately, with a short stack of about $250. Off to a turn, which is a 10. This card doesn't really change a whole lot besides forcing me to bet pretty big on the turn here. A lot of hands have improved to open-ended draws, so with that said, I size up to $110. He doesn't think too long after this bet before ripping his whole stack in for $250. Obviously, we are snap calling. Let's go to a river, which comes a deuce. He shows his hand first, which is the 9-3 offsuit for flopped 2 pair. We take this one down. Pretty cooler flop there. If he's going to play 9-3, he should be going all in with a 2 pair flop for him. Next hand we get involved in, we have ace-8 offsuit in the hijack. There's a button straddle, and we're playing 5-handed. Folds to me, definitely a good spot to open, so I size to $40, and only the button makes the call for $30 more, assuming he's got to have a pretty wide range here. The flop comes 10-9-7 2 diamonds. Good enough flop with an over and open-ended draw. I decided to size down in our bet here. We size to $35, and we get some interesting action as he puts in the min raise. Min raises it up to $70, and I think this is really interesting. We're never going to fold here, but I feel like he's got to have 2 pair plus, or maybe just 1 pair with a decent kicker or some sort. I'm not entirely sure, but facing the min raise, we're never folding open-ended. We make the call, and the turn comes immediate help in the jack of clubs. This is great, but we don't want to be out of position in this spot, so we decided to try something different. We don't want this action, and we don't want this card to go check if he either had a flush draw or now improved to 2 pair of some sort and can just free roll the river. I decided to lead out for $140, put some pressure on some of his stronger holdings here. We're also playing fairly deep, so we'll see what happens. He tanks for quite some time, weighing out his options before making a call. So when he does call here, let's just try to fade any diamonds, any more connected cards. The river comes the 5 of spades. This is a total brick and pretty much the exact card we're looking for. We have a debate between betting small here to get value from 2 pair holdings, or we can check to let him induce a bluff, but assuming our hand here is pretty good with the second nuts, I decided to bet small to a sizing of $170. In this instance, he tanks for quite some time, once again weighing out his options, before ultimately making the fold. While folding, he said that he had a ton of outs on the turn. Nice to get there on the turn and take it down there. After picking up ace-8 offsuits, we pick up ace-9 suited on the button, so a little bit better of an improvement hand here. Anyways, there are 2 limpers to me, and on a fairly limp-heavy passive table preflop, we put in some pressure on the button and raise it up to $25. We don't get too many folds as the small blind decides to make the call and one of the limpers as well, so 3 ways to a flop, which comes king, jack, deuce, 2 clubs, and a spade. Action checks to me, and having played with these players for a little bit so far, seems like their ranges are super wide, and on a board texture that heavily favors my range, we put in a c-bet to $50. We do have some backdoor draws going for us as well, so we'll see. Only the small blind makes the call, and this is a player that I didn't want to call in there because I don't think I can ever bluff him off. Anyways, we're going heads up to a turn, which comes the 8 of spades. Brings in our backdoor flush draw. Would have loved to see another card to give us a combo draw, but this is good enough. Surprisingly enough, he leads out for $100 now. Pretty decent chunk bet, and I don't think I can really ever fold on this turn. Although we're drawing pretty slim, it is an improvement, and we're not getting the right price. We make the call and hoping to see a good black card that we could potentially just bluff on as well. I call, and the river comes the 9 of clubs. We do improve to a pair. The front door flush draw gets there, and when he checks to us, it's pretty hard to put him on a flush. Seems like his bet on the turn there was to protect his equity against flush draws. So with that said, I think this is just a perfect spot to turn our hand into a bluff now. So we decided to size up to $250. He thinks for a while, but ultimately, there's no fold button here. He makes the call, and we show him that he's good. He shows us 8 deuce of diamonds. So definitely never folding 2 pair in this instance. And unfortunate that he had to turn that. Yeah, we're just getting crushed now. Following that hand, this next spot, we pick up ace-king offsuit in the big blind playing 5-handed. Action folds to the small blind, who decides to put in a limp. Here, having played against this player so far, he's playing pretty much every hand and usually aggressive. I decided to raise it up to $25 with a premium, and he makes the call. Off to a flop, which comes ace, queen, 8 rainbow. He checks to us, and we're in position in a pretty good flop as we do hit our ace. Against someone with a really wide range who can overplay hands and can also really put in the aggression if he senses weakness, I decided to check back for deception. The turn comes the deuce of hearts, brings in a backdoor flush draw, and for a second time he checks, obviously not checking back on the turn here, so I decided to throw out a bet of $35. Pretty quickly, he sees our $35 bet and thinks it's not big enough for him. He check raises to a sizing of $85. And against this player, this check raise is an absolute dream for us. Knowing that our hand just has to be good here a high percentage of the time, we take a very exploitative line and put in a 3-bet. We size up to $250, and although I am holding the king of hearts in a situation which isn't ideal, I think this is just very exploitative against this specific player, as he can be doing this with a wide range of hands and a lot of ace-x 1-pair holdings as well. With that said, facing this 3-bet, he is not going to fold. He doesn't have too much behind and decides to rip it all in for 565 total. Obviously, we are not folding here, so we're off to a river once we make the call. The river comes a heart. He shows us 8-5 of hearts. He got there with the backdoor flush draw, and we double him up, and even worse, this player immediately gets up and moves to another table. Great. Next hand we go, queen 10 offsuit on the button. This time we're playing really short-handed on this table. 4-handed here in this spot, and when the cutoff limps, I'm certainly putting in a raise. We raise it up to $25 here, playing 4-handed on the button. Only the cutoff limper makes the call. The flop comes 10, 7, 5, 2 spades. Top pair is good enough for us, so we c-bet $30 on this board, and he decides to make the call for 30. Off to a turn, which comes a queen, so perfect. Top 2 pair on this kind of board texture. When he checks to us, we're certainly going to size up again. He's playing pretty short with $250 in his stack, so if we can try to commit stacks here on this turn, that'd be very ideal. We size to $110, and he immediately grabs for chips. Doesn't think too long before making the call, so we're off to a river. The river comes a 9. On this river here, I don't necessarily love it, but with 2 pair, it's going to be hard for us to be beat against a set or a straight. So with that said, once he checks to us with only $140 behind, we just decide to rip it all in there. Pretty standard, but he quickly folds, so it's nice to not lose every single pot today and pick up the small ones. Last hand of the night, 4-handed. We are on the button, we are straddling, and there's a small blind who limps the $10. Next, the big blind raises to $55. Here on the button with ace-jack offsuit, this is a good hand to 3-bet in position and playing 4-handed, just obviously part of our 3-betting range. So we size up to $160. The small blind gets out of the way who put in the 10, and the big blind is not going to back down in this spot. He puts in a 4-bet this time to $355. Looking at his stack, he's got somewhere around $600 behind, so if I were to make the call, we have a stack to pot ratio of less than 1. This is not good, not great for playability wise, so simply just a pot size jam on the flop if I do call. This hand just really doesn't play well with small SPR. This hand is way too weak for a 5-bet shove facing a 4-bet range, even if it is 4-handed. There's not much to do. We're a little tilted at this point, and folding is boring, so we make the call. The flop comes king 8-6. We cannot do much here, especially when he throws out a bet of $200 or something. We're just going to snap fold. We just show it since it is the last hand of this session. And yeah, this was not a pretty one. Yeah. A lot of things did not go well today. Playing good was one of them. Had to take a walk to decompress. I recorded an outro earlier, and I'm not in the mindset to talk. Just one of those nights where you just want to yell at yourself for the whole ride back home. Can't wait for that. Mainly super tilted. I got really tilted when I doubled up that other guy with 8-5 suited, and then he immediately racked up and went to play at another table. man, that's just annoying, but whatever. It is what it is. Hate to lose like that and then have them leave. And then yeah, they sent me on a World of Tilt and I played horrible and I punted off a lot of money. So we're in for we're in for $1,900, out for just under $800. So minus $1,200 there. Bad day. One of those bad days where you just hate yourself. But thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video somehow, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.